What's up, guys? It's Zenara here, and today we're going to be doing the final reveal session for Bermuda Triangle's Twinkle Melody. I know this is a long overdue video. Due to the holidays and other circumstances, I wasn't able to fully record this last section of the video of the series. But let's just get over and do all the cards, and I'll give you my quick thoughts about the set as a whole. So, with that being said, let's get started. So, before I ended off the last reveal session, I believe the following Sunday, I forgot the date, but this card was revealed, and its name is Electric Essence Cisco, I believe. So it's a grade 2, 5000 shield, 10k power, and it rarity is a common. So it has 2 skills: continuous on rear guard. During your turn, if any player's rear guard was returned to hand this turn, this unit gets talents of power. And its second ability is auto. One place, you may put a normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck. If you put a grade 3 or greater, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and that unit cannot stand in your opponent's next stand phase. So this card is better with the VR. That's I'm going to talk about next. But the first ability can work well with Aqua. That if you return a unit to your hand, she becomes a 20k beater. Also, it works with the Grade 1 promo Vista. If you can, no, it doesn't work with Vista. My bad, because Vista's at the end of the turn. But her becoming a 20k beater, possibly on your turn 2, thanks to Aqua, is really strong. And its second ability, it's an on-place free cycle, so you can't put any triggers back to your deck. But if you need like a specific card in your deck, which there are going to be multiple cards that you want back into your deck, since some cards might go to the drop zone or you guard with them and you want them back, you can just put them in the deck. So if you put a grade 3 or grade 4 back, or whatever card that releases in the future, you can choose one of your opponent's rear guards and stun them. So it is stealing like Mega Colony's stun ability, but in some cases you kind of do want that stun. For some of the grade 1s, like I know the grade 1 Kagero that likes to restand the Vanguard, you can rest it. I mean, you can put it in the stun state so they can't get off their multiple boosts or restanding. And there's some other plays you could do with this card to prevent your opponent from getting more power and attacking. So it's a common that has its uses, and it's very it's a solid card in my opinion. I believe on that Tuesday, we had a VR and also a promo reveal, which the promo that was revealed is Scarlet Vivid Quille, I believe. So it's a grade 1, 10,000k shield, and it has 8k power. So it has 2 abilities: auto, VC, RC. When placed, you may soul charge 1. This second ability is auto. When rolled upon, you may call this card RC. So basically, she replaces herself in the soul, and she pluses 1 to soul. So you just kind of call the grade 1 for free if you ride it. This is good for like some decks that need soul. It's like Mirror, possibly Pacifica if you use a lot of soul, but there are other cards you might need. And other bosses that need soul. But the fact that is, if you return it to your hand, you can keep soul charging. So you could call it once it's rolled upon and just plus to the field while having it still in hand, which is really it's pretty good. I won't rate it super high because it is a promo, but it has uses to some decks. So now on that Tuesday, we got to reveal 2 Perfect Performance Andre. So it's a grade 3 with force, it has 13k power, and is rarity as a VR. So it only has 1 ability. Auto VC. When it attacks the Vanguard, cost counterbalance 1. Choose any number of normal units on your players on any player's RC and return them to hand. After all the effects below according to the number of cards returned. So if you return 2 or more, this unit gets 10,000 power to the end of the turn. 3 or more, get a magic get force. 4 or more, search your deck up to 1 unit card, call it to RC, and shuffle your deck. So, Anja's ability to be able to sort of control the field in a way where you can return your on-place units and hard one to turn units to hand. So Aqua, you can return her in the hand. Lieselot, you can return in the hand after you called her. I would call them, and it just allows you to reuse those units for next turn and to gain soft advantage by returning your board. So you hardly lose any real shield value by calling them early or during that turn. It's only if you call a trigger unit, you cannot return that to hand, of course. Now, there's a lot of things I want to say about Anj, but there's a lot more cards. But Anj is a solid unit, being able to get power by herself, so she isn't just 13k when she swings. You get another force marker, so technically she could create like 20k power overall, or just 10,000 power on the critical if you go force 2. And if you return 4 or more, you call a card that has a normal unit from a unit card from your deck to RC. So there are going to be targets like Cisco. You could call her, since you return units in your hand, she can get 20k power, and you can return a grade 3 and you can stun the rear guard, or just return other cards you want to call for Anj. So I will talk about her later, but yeah, Anj is a very strong VR. Probably not the best VR in my opinion, because there are other VRs that don't have that much restrictions as her, but there are just powerful. So now, I believe for the card of the day, for the next day after Anj, we got revealed to a grade 1, which her name is Printed Blue Milip. It's a grade 1, 10,000 shield. Has 8k power, and its rarity is a rare. So auto, Vanguard and Rear Guard. This ability's cost may be paid with Soul Blast 1 if the grade of you and your opponent's Vanguard is the same when placed. Cost counterbalance 1. Look at the 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to a total of 2 cards with Melody in their different names from among them. Put up to 1 of those cards into your hand. Put up to 1 of those cards into your soul. So shuffle your deck. So, she sort of acts like the gray one for Pacifica, but in this case, there's multiple Melody cards. So, if you Soul Blast, you basically can replace one of the Melody cards and put it into the Soul, and if you get another Melody card, you can just put it to your hand. So she's technically a +1 overall, maybe a +2, but since if you Soul Blast, you don't really plus to the Soul since you're replacing it. It's a very good card that you're able to just choose which resource that you want to use for her cost, and be able to search out your melodies. Overall, good grade 1. So, the next card I was revealed after that day is Captivate Originality Guerlain. It's a grade 3 with force, and its rarity is common. So, auto, Vanguard Circle, 1 place, reveal 7 cards from the top of your deck, and if all the normal units revealed have different card names, call up to 2 of those reveal cards to RC and shuffle your deck. So this card is complementing the Highlander playstyle. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You can +2 off of it if you get 7 different normal units. Again, trigger units doesn't affect it, so if you get multiple trigger units and not a lot of normal units, you really wouldn't want to call them because you'd be thinning out triggers for your deck. The only issue is that it is a Vanguard skill and it only happens once, so if you can't ride a more useful grade 3, you kind of stuck on this unit. But it's only a common, but it does have potential with another grade 3 that I'm going to reveal soon. So the next card that was also revealed in the set is Cherish Phrase Reina. So it's a grade 0, it has 30k shield, and its rarity is RR and 5k power. So it only has one ability. Continuous Sentinel, you may only have up to 4 cards with Continuous Sentinel in the deck. So this is our Crit Sentinel. Not much to say about it. 30k shield is really helpful for some decks if you want to play it. You can split between Lene and Reina to have both worlds. Since most of Bermuda at the moment doesn't have a hand size, we might just play Lene, but it's up to you. Eve would definitely like to play this card because it's a critical and you get more shield. So now, on to the card I was mentioning before for the common grade 3 Highlander card. So I believe this was on Friday. We got revealed to Velvet Voice Reindeer. So it's a grade 3 with force, it has 13k power, and its rarity is a triple R. So continuous. When would be revealed by cards effects, it is regarded as a trigger unit instead of a normal unit. And the second ability is Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle attacked, discard 2 cards from your hand. Reveal 10 cards from the top of your deck. And if all the normal units revealed have different card names, write up to one of those revealed cards, not named Velvet Voice Reindeer as stand. Shuffle your deck. And that unit gets drive -1 until the end of turn. At the end of this turn, put that unit at the bottom of your deck and write a grade 3 for your soul as rest. So, Reindeer makes Highlander a bit more consistent with her first ability, since she changes herself to a trigger unit. So if you reveal like multiple copies of her, it doesn't matter because she's a trigger unit for that reveal effect. Now the second ability, I know other people have talked about it. It really what gives you value in Highlander, since you can get a guaranteed 2 forces, which in most cases you might go force 1 since you just build power over time. Now if you do get off her effect, you can choose any of the grade 4s that was revealed up until now, except Irena, because she needs to be the first battle, and you already would have tapped the reindeer, so it doesn't work. You can use any of the grade 4s. You can even use Anj to get more force markers and an extra attack. You can use that common grade 3 to get a +2 to field. There's just other crazy combinations that you could do with reindeer, and since Highlander has a lot of unique one-ofs, in some cases you can even like ride a grade 2, so your opponent in premium you could even ride a grade 2, so your opponent can't do any shenanigans. However, you'll have to ride back a grade 3 from your soul. So I'm not sure about the technicality of like some plays of like somehow soul blasting reindeer, not having a grade 3, so you're stuck on grade 2 maybe. But it has some interesting plays that you can do in premium. But in standard, it's what Highlander sort of needed to have like a competitive viability, since Rainier allows you to just search out your grade 3s, useful grade 3s, and use cards like Laura to get multiple attacks full power. Ineska can get more force markers, and Excel and a protect marker. So Reindeer is a pretty interesting card and is pretty good for the Highlander build. So I believe this was the next card I was revealed on Friday. I might be having it mixed up. However, we got revealed to the Legendary Auto Rare School Elite Olivia. So it's grade 4 with Force, and its 14k power, and its rarity is Legendary Auto Rare. So it only has one ability, Auto, Vanguard Circle. When it attacks the Vanguard, choose up to 5 of your rear guards. If all the chosen rear guards have different card names, stand all of them. If you stand 3 or more rear guards, this unit gets critical +1 to the end of that battle. Stand even if only one was chosen. So Olivia, this card is, honestly, I haven't really tested it much. It like builds that isn't Highlander. However, I think she is an interesting card that, again, you can splash it into other decks. It chooses like your front row that might be different, other than like Pacifica, because you probably have Pacificas in the front row. But it's interesting because she gives you sort of free multi-attacks, and herself, she gets a critical, so she isn't just 14k minimum or whatever number she is without any sort of threat. So she can easily create like 5 attacks or more. And again, this is a target for Reindeer, which if you ride Reindeer to Olivia, you get another force marker, and then when Olivia attacks, she can stand all your rested rear guards and get more attacks, and she has a critical. So Olivia is probably just as interesting as Eve, is that you can play it in almost any deck, but you get more attacks that way, and you just don't get any like pluses or anything from Olivia. You just get pure aggression. So Olivia is a pretty good, pretty interesting card. So I believe we're gonna start talking about the cards that was revealed on Tuesday, or the last set of cards for our last VR. So the first card revealed was Freshers Innovate Rosalina. So it is a grade 1 with 10,000 shield, 8k power, and its rarity is a rare, I believe. So continuous on RC during your turn. If a force marker is on this unit's circle, your Happiness Heart Laprina on VC gets power plus 10,000. Then its second ability, Auto, VC and RC, 1 place, cost, Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Happiness Heart Laprina or Uniqueness Allure Dangi from among them, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck. So this will make more sense as we reveal Laprina and Dangi, but her being on a force marker allows your Vanguard to be 23 for essentially no cost. So if you get a force marker on her, Laprina is going to be able to get 10,000 power for free. And the second ability, the fact that it's Vanguard, it's rear guard circle as well, makes it more flexible. However, the cost is Soul Blast 1, so it does have a cost, rather than the other gray ones like Clear, which is probably the best example, and probably the strongest variant, since you can search for any prism from the top 7 or top 5. I believe it's top 7, but it's still a good card for the Laprina deck. So we're going to talk about the grade 2 that was revealed on that same day, which is Unique Allure Dengi. So it's grade 2 with 5000k shield, 10k power, and its rarity is a rare. So continuous. On RC, during your turn, if there is a force marker on its unit circle, the original critical of the Happiness Heart Laprina on your VC becomes 2. Its second ability is Auto Vanguard / Rearguard. One place, Soul Charge 1. If Happiness Heart Laprina or Freshers Innovate Rosalina is on your Vanguard or Rearguard circle, Soul Charge 1. So, for the first ability, if she has a force marker, your Laprina on Vanguard just gets 2 critical. Its original crit becomes 2, so you can't use force 2. It makes it so that your Laprina column is threatening, or lane is threatening, so your opponent can't just no guard it while your rear guards are fat and suffer no type of like negative downsides to it. So it's a pretty good ability. Its second ability, it's basically it's sort of like grade 2 Coral that you can soul charge to. However, you have more targets, even though it is restricted to where they are placed. So if you don't have like Laprina or Rosalina on Vanguard or Rearguard circle, you don't get the extra soul charge. But Coral, if you just have Coral Vanguard, you can just get the effects easier. In grade 2 Coral, if you ride the grade 2, you can soul charge 2 if you place her Vanguard. So still a pretty good vital card for Laprina. As we move on to the next card on our final VR, Happiness Heart Laprina is a grade 3 with 13k power, and its rarity is a VR. So, at Vanguard, once a turn, cost Soul Blast 2. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck. Call up to 1 normal unit from among them to RC and shuffle your deck. If you called, get a imaginary gift Force and put that marker on the RC that unit is on. And its second ability is Auto Vanguard Circle. When it attacks, cost Caraboss 1 and send all your rear guards on circles with a force marker. So, Laprina is a solid card. Her first ability to just +1 and get a force marker. I'm not gonna say it's too strong, but it's very generic. As in, Laprina can be splashed into other decks as long as you have the soul, which Dengi can feel the soul, and it really helps to be able to just call a card to the field while having to expend cards from your hand. Even though it's 1, you can select from the top 7 and be able to cost like Lizelot or Rosalina and Dengi to make her 23 with 2 crit. So, and the fact there's a force marker placed on that circle, you can call it to the back row. Well, any unit to the back row, and you can just move them because the force circle, because that circle has that force marker, and you can start standing in the back row for extra boosting. So, in her second ability, I know it was memed to death that it's basically Mordred, and it is pretty much basically Mordred. She allows you to stand all your rear guards with force markers. However, if somehow in the future Bermuda gets a way to make Excel that's not from Pilone. If you can somehow get a force worker on that circle, then you can get more attacks off. But her second ability being really this card, it's a one attack engine on itself, because you just create multiple attacks just by using your first skill. You get 2 force. They can CB1 to just stand all of them. I will say she's in like the same range as Anj. Well, I mean in the same range, I mean by herself. However, there are other stronger combinations with Lupina, such as Twinkle Melody, and that just gets power that's really, really high, and your opponent can't possibly survive it. The fact that she isn't grade 3 restricted at all, you just get 5 attacks turn 3, is really strong. So Lupina is a very good VR and worthy of closing out this set. So we got some double R's to go over. So the first double R is Sporty Idol Ines. This is a grade 2, 5k shield, 10,000 power, and a rarity is double R. It has 2 abilities, Auto, Vanguard, and Rigor Circle. 1 placed, cost, card boss 1. Search your deck up to 1 card with Riviera in its card name, and the same grade as your Vanguards. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck. The second ability is Act. Once a turn, costs Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast 1 with Riviera in its card name, and one of your units with Riviera in its card name, and this unit gets power plus 10,000 to the end of turn. So this card is of course supporting Riviera. Its biggest strengths is that it's able to give you a copy of your grade 3 Riviera, a copy of your grade 2 Riviera if you use it early, so now you have a restanding rear guard or a way to plus. Her first effect just allows you to thin out your deck. Granted, Riviera doesn't really return units to hand, but she basically is a less costly Caro, because you can just counter boss 1 and just search any Riviera. That's the same as your Vanguard, so if you call it leaves a lot and you somehow have a counter blast, she can search your grade 1s. But it's really effective on your grade 2 turn and your grade 3 turn, because you just search out the most important Rivieras that you want. Its second ability to Soul Blast 1 card with Riviera means you can use that grade 3 support card. I forgot her name, but you could get Riviera back into your hand and just keep cycling that over and over. She can make your Vanguard or Rear Guard Rivieras get numbers. So she creates 20k power from a Soul Blast 1 of Riviera. So let's say if you ride on your grade 3 turn, you have Riviera Vanguard Circle, you call this card, you count mouse 1, you can get grade 3 Riviera, then you do all of her skills and stuff. The next turn, if you have her or another card of this, you can call her, get another grade 3 Riviera, you can Soul Blast a grade 3 Riviera in your soul, and create 2 lanes of that just get 10,000 power, and use the grade 3 support card to filter and to get another grade 3 Riviera. You're pretty much set for like a couple turns just to keep rewriting and just getting more force markers. So this card is really good. It does help the deck a lot, so I like it. So the next double R that was revealed is Bear Affection Raheel. It's a grade 2, 5k power, 5k shield, my bad, 10,000 power, and its rarity is a double R. Auto, Vanguard or Rear Guard, 1 place, Card boss 1 is Soul Charge 3. If you soul charge a card with Coral in this card name, draw a card. Then second ability is Act RC. Once a turn, if you have Vanguard with Coral in this name, Soul Blast 2, Countercharge 1, and all your rear guards. Choose all your rear guards, and they get boosted at the end of turn. So, other than the art, this card is very good in Coral. I've fought against it a couple of times, and with the support cards that they already previously have, Coral does have some pretty strong potential. First off, the first ability, you're most likely getting Counterblast 1 to get the cards you need in Soul, and you're most likely going to draw a card. Most of your deck is filled with Corals. Even though it's only 12 cards, well, 13 if you count the grade 0, but you'll most likely get the draw if you Soul Charge a Coral. It's a +1. You get cards in Soul that you want. His second ability is really good with Coral, of course, but with the grade 3 specifically, if you Soul Blast 2, not only do you Countercharge 1, which basically refunds grade 3 Coral and herself, but all those units like the grade 2 and that grade 3 that's able to search Coral on Vanguard Circle, it allows those units to be played in the back row and still boost. So they get more power, and you don't have to call your grade 1 Corals to boost. You keep them in hand to guard, and you could just get it back to hand. She also fills half of the cost for Soul Blast 4 for the 2 crit to your Corals. So she herself kind of cuts down from you having to call a lot of Corals, but also she gives the deck some form of advantage and resource, which Coral was missing, but now it's just a little bit better, a little bit easier for you to gain advantage while having you to play weird grade 1s and some different grade 2s just to make it work. So this is a really good card for Coral. And the last of the double R's is Expect Rhythm Viela. Is a grade 2, 5 as shield, 10k power, and is raised to RR. So act, Vanguard Rigor Circle, once a turn. If your Vanguard is top Owl Pacifica, or Accept Rhythm Viela, cost Counterblast 1 and put another rear guard on the bottom of your deck. Call up to 1 normal unit from your drop zone to RC. Choose all of your rear guards until the end of your opponent's next turn. They get boost. It cannot be chosen by your opponent's card abilities. So, this card for Pacifica in general, I haven't tested it much, but it solves the problem of you having to play that grade 1 booster, and also it's a better version of it, since you just have to put a rear guard that you don't want to the bottom of the deck, and you could call a Pacifica for your drop zone. So it already helps you recoup Pacificas, but not only that, your opponent cannot choose any unit unless it's Blade Master that just wipes all. Your opponent cannot choose any unit. So the problem with the grade 1 was she only gave your grade 3s the cannot be chosen, but her herself didn't get it. So if your opponent sniped it, your Pacificas lost their effects to not get chosen, and then they can be chosen now. But this grade 2 just allows you to just avoid that happening completely for a single counterblast that turn. So, and second ability to get boost, this allows you to play Ursula or other grade 2s in the back row, and Yeah, this allows you to play those cards in the back row and gain boost while having you to play the Grade 1 booster. Since Pacifica likes to cause Grade 1s early to just get Pacifica in hand, now you can start saving them. If you have her on the field, your board will be protected every turn. Since Pacifica only costs 1 Soul Blast, and Ursula costs 1 Counter Blast, thanks to the Grade 1 from this set, Rainbow Shard, I forgot her name, you can sort of start building advantage without you having to call cards that much. But the fact that this card kind of helps you with the boosting department and you calling Pacifica from the drop zone, it helps a lot. So I like this card a lot. Even though it is a counter blast, you gotta put another rear guard to the bottom. It replaces itself with a Pacifica or any normal unit you want. So you can even call like Ursula from the drop. If you have CB, you can counter blast too, and just search for Pacifica from the deck, or the Grade 1 that Soul Blast to look at the top 7 for Pacifica. So it's a good RR, and Pacifica really needed it. So these are the last 2 cards of the set I'm going to review. So we had one more Tripar left, and it has received support in the form of a Grade 1, which its name is Quiet Temperament Katia, I think. Anyway, it's a Grade 1, 10,000 shield, 8k power, and its rarities are so continuous. During a turn, if any player's rear guard was returned to hand this turn, this unit gets power plus 5,000. And the second ability is Auto RC. At the end of battle, it boosted. If you have Vanguard with Tirua in its card name, cost Soul Boss 1, return all your rear guards in the same column as this unit to your hand. So, this will be explained more when I talk about the triple art itself. So, the last triple art set is Shushu Debut Stage Tira. It's a Grade 3 with Force, has 13k power, and its rarity is triple R. So Auto, Vanguard Circle, 1 place, choose any number of any player's normal units on RC, and return them to the hand. If 3 or more cards were returned, this unit gets power plus 50k until the end of turn. And the second ability is Auto, Vanguard and Rearguard Circle, once a turn. At the end of the battle, it attacked. If 3 or more of any player's rearguards were returned to the hand this turn, cost Kairos 1 and discard a card from your hand. Stand this unit and it gets drive -1 to the end of turn. So, we'll talk about Tira first, and then the Grade 1 will make more sense later. Tira, her first ability is when she's placed, if you return 3 or more cards of either player's side, she gets 15k power. So minimum, she's a 28k. Even on force, 228k. It's still pretty. It hits decent numbers if you don't have a booster. Still pressures a bit, but she become 38k if you put a force marker or even huger with triggers and stuff. Now her second ability is where the true spice comes in. If you, even by herself, let's say you write Tira, you can get another, basically a restand, which is kind of similar to how her stride was as she restood. However, it's in the form of bouncy back cards here in. So it's kind of combining Bermuda's old mechanics with Tira's restand, which is pretty interesting that they allowed you to use on rearguard circle as well. That means if you use Anj as a VR, you call Tira to rearguard circle and restand Tira to get 5 attacks that turn. Granted, the whole combo is CB2 and a discard, but Anj makes enough soft advantage to not really be affected by the discard. And she makes a force marker, so Tira on turn 3 if you have 2 CB, you could get a 33k rear guard that swings twice without triggers. So it's still a very good unit in Anj, but Tira herself, unless we get more bounce support for like the main clan, she isn't really going to see much play other than in Highlander, since Rainier can just see Tira, I'll ride Tira and bounce my opponent's units back while I still have like rested units, or no, I'll return my own units back. Since they're rested, just get some advantage off of it and just attack with Tira and CB1, discard a card to resand. So Tira's also very good in Rainier. So now let's talk about the gray one. Her first ability is if your opponent, if any player's regardless was returned, she's 13k booster. So she also works for Anj, but she also mainly works for Tira, since you return basically in ride phase. Now her second ability, at the end of the bout boosted, you can return all your rear guards in the same column to your hand. Basically, there are some instances where you don't have another Tira in your hand. Well, if you play Aqua, you return up to 1, and then she, if you boost with her in another column, you get 3. Now Tira can restand. You just get less power than before, but it is achievable. But also, I think what also makes this card a little bit strong, well, not like amazingly strong, but really good in this deck for Tira, is that usually when cards have a return to hand effect, the other clans, so like Nubatama, I know Gold Paladin has it with Agravale, and another grade 3. They have to have like a cost to like put another rear guard or discard a card, or be on Vanguard Circle. This card sort of just Soul Blasts 1, which is very cheap in Anj, Reindeer, and even Tira in their own deck. And you can just return back all the rear guards in that column. So you can return back your triggers. You return her back, so she's safe. So I think it's a very strong card for Tira, that is. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how Tira has her own support card that helps her. And it's sort of like a 2-deck engine, but Tira herself does all the work herself. So, with that, that was finally all the cards from Twinkle Melody, not Crystal, Twinkle Melody. And I'm so sorry for how long this video is, and also me not doing it earlier, the holidays and all that nonsense. So, my overall thoughts for the set. It was a very interesting one that Bushiroad decided to be a little bit more tame with the set. Now, Crystal Melody was not like, oh, it's ridiculous out of the gate, because during that time, Riviera just wasn't once a turn, and there was ways to beat it, but why learn how to beat it where you could just play the deck itself? So that's why she's still errata to once a turn. So, but as of right now with the turn results, Melody has just been showing some good representation in locals, even in like some tourney play. But this set does not beat Gurgit at all. It can beat Luar though, but it doesn't beat Gurgit in a way that it's over-representing Gurgit. Gurgit is still the best deck. But not talk about the meta-wise, I really love this set and how they went into a different route with most of the decks. Sure, it's kind of like Divas Festa 2.0, but the fact that there's a lot of multiple different decks and playstyles with cards to like mirror being able to heal and lyrical being able to like gain more defense and wipe your opponent's board. These cards like that, as well as like Anj being able to scale well in the future, if we continue down this standard path, it will be very interesting to see what happens with some of these generic cards like Lupina, and Vert is going to be getting, well, Prisms as a whole is going to be getting more support because Netera is Prism, but so far like the other 3 VRs are sort of, well, except Plone, it's really just Lupina and Anj are just sort of generic, that they're able to just mix well with almost any deck. I'm excited to see what kind of deck building happens in the future. I'm already loving the deck building now, just to see what kind of interesting combinations people do. So that was my quick thoughts over Twinkle Melody as a whole. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I know it's very long, please join my Discord. I will be doing more videos, not just about Twinkle Melody. I do have some videos planned that are coming up on the way. But if you do enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Join my Discord. There's still people active there, and we still have a lot of fun with the game. So, I'm Zenarion. I'm signing off.